Springs, and he wanted to let me know that he will happily take any willing participant between the ages of 18 and 55 years old in good health for an 18-month study. That kind of reads like a scientist dating profile or something. But in addition to that, if you qualify and can drive to the Colorado Springs 9 times, they'll pay you $1,125 for this study in ophthalmology. So he is here tonight to talk to you about how research is even more complicated than you think and the importance of informed consent. Make some noise for Jordan Townsend.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. As he said, I work in medical research, specifically in ophthalmology, which I find the most scientifically pure form of medical research. Why? Well, our patients aren't just blind to placebo versus treatments, they're blind to everything else as well. Now, most of my best jokes since I'm in the medical field are technically HIPAA violations. So I need everyone to pretend like this is literally any other show at this venue and just say you were never here. So, as you said, informed consent, that's the first step in any research study. And informed consent in a research study is basically, so we don't know if this drug's going to help you, we don't know if it's going to hurt you, we don't even know if you're getting the drug or not, so I'm not entirely sure which part is informed. It's basically a document the length of the Apple user agreement that says, we know nothing, sign here to let us stick a needle in your eye. Now, this isn't entirely true. There is one thing we know. Almost every informed consent I've seen has a section in there about there being minimal risk of testicular injury. For an eye medication. So we do know for a fact this informed consent was written by a man. Now, one of the parts of an informed consent, pregnancies really mess up our trials because if anything is wrong with that baby whatsoever, we're legally responsible for the next 18 years. But this is a delicate issue, especially because I've already said, guess what? Today you're going to get dilated. Your eyes. So, I'm approaching this issue last week very carefully, very gingerly with the patients, and then my Serbian coworker comes in, and she's like, listen, you cannot get pregnant because the drug is going to molest the embryo. And then instead of a kid, you will have a disabled accessory for life. So, Dragonov, for the last time, your daughter isn't disabled. That's called being a teenager. So I feel like drug commercials kind of get a bad rap. We've all heard them, 75% of it is all side effects. The thing is, literally anything that happens during a clinical trial that we cannot prove 100% was not caused by the drug ends up as a potential side effect. I would like to see other industries held to the same standard. Can you imagine Chipotle? Burns and falls have been reported at Chipotle locations. And you may be infected with E. coli, norovirus, or salmonella. Contact your doctor immediately if you experience an allergic reaction to any of Chipotle's ingredients. Now, we can get around this by trying to get people as healthy as possible, but the problem is nobody knows their medical history, and it drives me crazy. I'll be talking, I'm like, so are you diabetic? No, I just have uncontrolled high blood sugar. I'm like, okay, let me break this down for you. The front of my shirt here is what a normal human retina looks like. Yours looks more like the back of my shirt. Absolutely filled with blood. So then that devolves into just a ridiculous explanation of their health history that goes in circles. And then at one point, with one patient, I actually ended up having to explain that no, she does not have aliens living in her eyes that are stealing her vision. She said they were sometimes turquoise, sometimes orange, but they lived in her husband's beard. I said, then your husband should shave his beard. So I hope you know by this point that it's a bit more complicated than just, oh, I can't see this disease is incurable. However, there's this great clinical trial that will help me. A bit more complicated than that, because the eye is very complicated. And this bothers me when I hear some sort of creationist like Ken Ham say, well, the eye is too perfect to be the result of evolution. It must have been intelligently designed. Well, then, whoever intelligently designed it was a complete idiot, because I have a job. Then again, Ken Ham also spent $100 million on a boat in Kentucky that does not float. You know what I could have done with that money? Well, the cost to develop a new drug averages about $2.6 billion, so really not much. But I wish I would have been there when God had revealed the design of his eye. Behold the pinnacle of my creation, the human eye. God, what's this thing right in the middle here? Well, that is the optic nerve. It allows signals to go back to the brain. Yeah, but why did you put it like so close to the center of the eye where it's just going to create a blind spot in their vision? Like, why not just put it behind the retina so they can see normally? Well, their brain's going to edit it out. And by the way, you're missing the better picture here. The eye can see so much. It can see, yeah, barely any of the electromagnetic spectrum. You know, how about you make the eye be able to see, like, ultraviolet rays? You know, the thing emitted by your primary light source? That gives them cancer? Don't you want them to be able to detect that? Well, it's kind of complicated, and really only 3 cones were practical. Well, you gave the mantis shrimp 16. You're really saying humans are less important to you than the mantis shrimp? And let's also talk these ultraviolet rays that your primary light source makes. They also give them cataracts so they can't see. Well, that takes a long time to form. Well, less than a human lifetime, God. And there are so many other diseases we could get into. Glaucoma, macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, central retinal vein occlusions, everything. I think you should just scrap this design and start over. God? What is that, God? Well, that is the platypus. You fucked up a perfectly good duck. Anyway, thank you everybody. That's your time.